What's up, guys? I love this visual. I spent probably an hour, hour and a half making this for hitters. I think over time it's going to be saved in a lot of folders, can be saved on a lot of phones, on a lot of laptops, just because of how powerful it can be. A lot of people kind of overlook the launch position, which you can put it in two parts. You can go launch position, which the foot just now touches the dirt or grass wherever you're hitting the mat. You can go first move, which typically the barrel starts to move behind their head and their back knee starts to turn. Then you can go at contact. These three visuals are so important, and they're all correlated and they all help each other. Don't just focus on one. But if you had to focus on one that had the greatest impact, it's that launch position. So many players, especially high school level, youth level, high school level, they all struggle with the launch position. And I wish I could stomach the feeling of showing the bad launch positions, but I just can't. I wouldn't want myself being posted like that in a negative form, but you can kind of use your own imagination. You can use your own camera. Launch position is so overlooked, especially at the lower levels. And it puts you in such a great position before you even swing. So I feel like a lot of people are focusing on the swing rather than the launch position first. The launch position helps the swing instead of just the swing itself. So making sure you're always starting off on a good foot. So breaking down, let's go judge number one first. Let's go. I want to go chest view judge. Let's kind of break this down slow. The one thing I love about Judge is how early he is ready to hit from this position. I don't love everything about Judge's swing. I'm not going to go in detail about that. That's not the whole point about this video, but I love the kind of stretch factor. You can do it in two stretches. You can go elbow and back hip, right? I'm going to go mouse cursor. You can go elbow and back hip, really trying to feel the elbow being loaded and the hip being loaded and using that stretch. You can also use the visual of back elbow and foot, stretching the front side of the body out, just the body out and just in general. A lot of players, they land pretty weak, and loading that kind of mechanism, just like when you throw, is a really good one. So I love both of those. Let's go the two stretch points I love from him, back hip and elbow. Then he's really trying to, I don't know if he's trying to, but his elbow's going away from his foot, making his front side and just his body get wider and swing from a really good position. Then obviously how quick he is behind the baseball. He turns in a really tight window. I know he focuses on that too. Are there things I think he could do better? Yes, but I'm not going to go into that. He's a pretty good hitter, and he's leading the world in most stats. So that's what I have on that. Let's go center field view judge. Let's kind of break this down. It looked like a low and in cutter. This is the game where they ambushed Nestor Cortez, and they hit 3 home runs in the first inning. I'm not sure what he's sitting on. I'm pretty sure that Nestor was throwing a bunch of fastballs, and he throws him a pretty cookie cutter right here that just stays in the middle part of the plate. You can see where the catcher's setting up at, and it stays in the middle part of the plate, and Judge just unleashes on it. Okay, let's look at pitch release. He's very close to being able to swing from here. Obviously, his foot is up in the air. I know his hitting coach talks a ton about having that front hip more up towards the sky. It keeps more of the weight on the back foot, and it keeps the weight off the front foot. Then as he lands, he's ready to turn and go. So it happens really quick, and it's really tight. The last place I would probably throw Judge is in because of how tight he can turn. Okay. Next, who do we have? Let's go Pete Alonso next. Pete Alonso chest view. A little bit different swinger, a little bit different results, but still pretty good. He's number 2 in the OPS list right now. Look at how relaxed he starts with his hands. His bat's right behind his head. Really relaxed. He tucks that knee towards the elbow. I really like that for a lot of guys. One thing I really noticed about Alonso when I was watching this series with him, before the pitch was even coming, he was really focusing on like this. Not like rhythm like Griffey or Sheffield, but he was really focusing on front shoulder down. That was the thing that really stood out. I almost made a video just strictly on that. You can kind of see it in this. See how he's doing it? When I was watching, like his pre-pitch routine even before this, he was doing it even more. I'm going to see if it shows it in the center field view. Sometimes these videos get cut off just because they can't show too much because the videos get too long, but I really saw that. So as he lands, you can see that his shoulders like to level out, and he definitely gets wider and the bat gets more behind him. Definitely more of a Pujols position here. What I love is the very next frame is The back knee and barrel. The back knee and back elbow and the barrel starting to go. That movement right there. I love that. I wish the middle part, I wish the play button wasn't in the way, but this is just a phenomenal move. I love the back leg. I love the back elbow. I love the barrel. It's about as clean as it gets right there. So you can see probably why he wants to feel that front shoulder staying down more. He might get that front shoulder up a little bit too much sometimes, and now he starts to feel like he's swinging a little bit too much up. So having that front shoulder down more at launch position is probably the feeling that he wants, and this is probably the result of that, because he probably knows when he struggles, that front shoulder might get a little bit too high too early, or just too high just in general. Now he's coming off the ball. But yeah, this is a really clean move. The back leg and barrel opens up the front side, gets behind the baseball. Boom. Now let's kind of break down what pitch this was. This is very important. Let's go Pete Alonso, center field view. Sonny Gray. Let's kind of break down what this situation was. So we got runner on second, 2 outs. We got 2-0 count. What is he probably trying to do here? I'm not sure, but kind of what it looks like from this approach is you'd think definitely if there wasn't 2 outs, especially 0 outs, he's probably trying to get this ball to go oppo, right? He's probably trying to get the runner over, get him in, get him over, whatever. And he's probably trying to drive this ball right center. But he's most likely not doing that because if you get him over right here, that there's no more outs left, right? It's 2 outs. So that was my first thought. Then I saw the outs. I'm like, okay, that wouldn't make sense. But you can tell how well he's really trying to stay inside this pitch. This is a middle end pitch. It kind of hangs out over the middle part of the plate. You can see where the catcher wants it right there. He wants this ball low and in, it looks like, right there. Then the ball just stays middle, and he really stays inside this ball really well and drives it up the middle. My guess is he normally would pull this ball. I'm not quite sure what his approach was right here. Maybe the previous 2 at-bats versus Sonny Gray, he was working him all away, and maybe he kept on pulling off. I'm not sure. But yeah, this is typically a pitch that most power hitters would pull, but that's probably his approach right here. He's probably thinking sitting right center, sitting middle way, and the ball comes in on him, and he hits it up the middle. So he does a phenomenal job right there. I love that from him. Okay, who do we have next? We have Jonathan Aranda from the Rays. Kind of a sneaky pick right here. Let's go center field view. Off DeGrom. Not a easy pitcher to hit off of. I haven't really ever seen Aranda. He's definitely coming onto the scene. Pretty impressive. And I look at his movements, and it's very classic, really good hitter, right? Very good contact point, launch positions, just setup just in general. Like look at that position that he's at. It's what a lot of other great players are at. So he starts really relaxed. What's he doing at release point? He's pretty close to being ready. I think he could be a little bit more ready, but it's a really short load. It's a knee up. Barrel kind of tips from there. His hands don't really move. It's a really short and quiet load. I definitely don't think it's an end-all be-all. Some players can have a bigger load. Some guys can have a shorter load, right? It just depends on what really helps you get to a good position. Overall, he gets to this position really well and on time. Then it's a really fast, I can't actually move that. Sweet. Okay. Wish I would have done that on Alonso. It's a really fast move. The thing that really stands out right here, it's a middle in, actually it's an inside, looks like a slider. It shows that bottom right slider. It's at 103. His hands are really fast relative to his body. See what I mean by that? See how fast his hands go? It's like, okay, his hands are fast, but right now his hands look fast because his body's not moving crazy fast. So he's probably focused on really staying on this ball and being more handsy to this pitch. And it really helps him drive it really well. Most players are probably going to spin out of this and use a lot of body. You can see how much faster his hands move than his body. It's not that he has crazy fast hands like he does, but it's because your hands see the difference, speed difference between his hands and his body. That's why they look so much faster. So he's doing a really, really, really good job on this, staying on the slider, coming inside and not spinning off. That would be like a feeling that a lot of players would say, or Votto would talk about, staying on the ball and keeping everything fair. You can't do that if the front side just yanks open. So it was a really good job right here. Boom. Very nice job. Let's go Aranda's chest view. Okay, what do I see from here? Which is cool. I now can move this toggle. Good. Kind of like Alonso, he starts his hands very, very quiet, very neutral, and the bat's straight up and down. Then when he loads more of the hands. He doesn't really load the elbow or anything. You can tell he loads the hands more. Obviously, we don't know what he's feeling, but he moves the hands more than he moves anything else. So that's my guess. He's probably trying to feel the hands. I love how he does this. He starts his hips a little bit more neutral. Then as he strides forward, you can see that back hip start to get tucked. His front hip starts to go up a little bit as he carries forward. He starts to go see the ball a little bit, and he lands in a crazy neutral position, right? His hips are a little bit more tucked towards the catcher. You can see that little crease in his back hip. The barrel's in a phenomenal neutral position. The elbow's in a pretty good position. This is what we see a lot of great hitters in, and it gets overlooked. The front foot's really quiet. The back leg's starting to turn. The barrel's starting to turn. The back side's opening up the front side. You can see here how much faster his hands look than his body. You can see his body kind of stalls out right here, which is fine. We'd much rather the body stall out than the barrel stall out. What I mean by that is we'd rather the body stall out, which means slow down, rather than the barrel slow down. Because a lot of players, when they start to move, sometimes the body overrules the swing. Now the barrel stalls out, right? Let me grab my handy dandy bat. Sometimes the body moves overly too much and the bat stalls out. See how the bat stops moving, right? For him, actually, once he started moving a little bit and started getting that backside turn, then the barrel really started going. So it was like everything together. Then once he got to a certain point, the barrel went much faster, right? The body kind of stopped and the hands kind of took over. Most players who really struggle do the opposite, right? The front side really goes and it makes the barrel really stall out and get stuck behind them. And you can see how much faster his hands are, and it helps him get to this middle end pitch. And it's very impressive. I like this. I actually posted it yesterday. Quiet body, quiet feet, loud hands. This is the exact same feeling. A lot of players have loud body, right? And that typically makes the bat, everything gets stuck and makes it really quiet. They can't fire it, and that's when everything gets typically out of whack. Okay, so last one. We got Kyle Tucker, one of my favorite, but also one of the biggest outliers in the big leagues. Outliers, not in as position. He matches all the positions. He just looks a little bit different. Why does he look a little bit different? Kind of his setup, but also he's really tall, really long. A lot of players will typically look a little bit different when their body starts to be a little bit different than everyone else's. But like his setup is really good. But when you actually break it down, his launch position is maybe a hair flat, but he gets to the right moves. He gets to the right positions. And honestly, that's all that matters. It's more substance, like the real stuff, rather than style. So this is center field view. Let's see what's going on here. The biggest thing that I saw was they're trying to get him up and in, and this pitch went more over the plate. 0-2 count, and he pulls it out. Look at where this ball, it starts to leak back over the plate. And the catcher, look at that. It's like, that's not right where I wanted it. That's a pretty tough pitch, though. In most lefties, they want to do damage low and in rather than up and in because they have to go so far for it. But this is right in his wheelhouse right there. Obviously, we don't know exactly what he's looking for, but this pitch comes right back over the middle part of the plate. Biggest thing I want to kind of break down here is look at his like pre-pitch routine with his foot. It's almost like an Aranda step, but he only does it with his front foot. So he goes tap, tap, he steps back, then he strides more forward. He actually strides more closed than forward. You can see him close forward right there. Then he gets insanely flat, which is completely fine as long as he rotates from there. So a flatter swing is actually going to allow you to hit the high pitch better than the low pitch. Amazing. So you can see when he swings from a flatter position, he also finishes at a flatter position. He finishes more across his body, which typically happens when you swing from a flatter position. Most guys who swing from a taller position, more vertical position, they'll tend to finish more high as well, like a JD Martinez or a Judge. Hands work back as he strides forward, then he gets behind the baseball. And he pulls it out. He is going to sign a huge deal this year. I would say the one thing that he needs to keep on making sure of is making sure that those hands, that movement, make sure that it isn't late or it isn't sloppy. The one thing I don't love is, obviously he's phenomenal. The one thing I don't love is how late that hand load happens. like that loading, actually getting loaded move happens with his upper half, that could be the thing that really gets him out of whack, just like it gets out a lot of players. But if it's on, it's on. But that'd be the thing I'd really get weary about, because a lot of times, especially on lefties, when that move is late, that's when they start getting sucked under, and that's when they start getting really scoopy. So making sure that move happens early enough, so now you can make the move you want rather than when it's late. You have to react, so then it becomes like this. You think you swing from here, so then it goes like that, and now it's all one move, and it's back and under, scoopy and stuck, rather than boom, then boom. See how I can go there, then change directions, versus when it's late, it goes like that all at the same time, and that's when it gets super stuck and underneath. So I would just make sure, if I were him, making sure that he's getting into that elbow back, hands back position early enough. He's getting there a hair late, especially compared to where I see other great hitters at. But overall, it's pretty good. But that'd be the thing I'd really keep an eye on. Let's go Tucker chest view. That's why center field view is so important, because you can't see that from here. Let's see what this looks like. Let's move this toggle. Toe tap in, gathers, goes down and back. See how it looks a little bit different than chest view? It looks like he's not really, he's not late with his load, but it's still pretty good. See how he kind of does that move at the same time? That's the thing I get scared of. See how the hands go back, then they also go down at the same time? So like my guess is he really prioritizes making sure that that's right, because that move right there could turn poorly. But obviously right now it's really good, and he's going to sign a huge deal. I would just make sure that that's right. Most players, they need to feel like their hands stay up when their foot lands. For him, they're already kind of going down. But overall, like, that's really, really good. See how he gets in the zone? He's almost like sweeping behind the ball. It's so long through the zone. Short too, but it's long through. Boom. And that matches all great hitters right there. Kind of like a Ted Williams. It's all that has to happen. Substance. As long as you're able to do kind of that move and still stay above the baseball, that's all that matters. But if you struggle and miss under and kind of get sloppy and under, that'd be the first thing I would look at. So let me know if you guys like this type of format. I love doing this. This is what I do 24/7, 365. I break down hitters and I show them what I think they're really good at and what I think that they could do better at. Then we look at what's happening in game, what's happening in training. Then we go from there. The biggest thing that I focus on, especially in season, is so many players, or even just me, not so many players, kind of delete that out of your mind. I'm not going to cut that out. But we want to make sure that we don't just look at training film. We want to look at what's actually happening in the game. When it goes well, when it goes bad, what are the movements in game? Everyone typically moves a little bit different in the game, so we want to make sure, what do? They typically stride out a little bit further, they might swing a little bit bigger, they might swing a little bit more up, they might pull off a little bit, they might overswing, whatever that is. Don't just go off training video and make the training video better, or make the training swing better. Make the actual game better. Especially for like my golf game. If I try to make my golf swing perfect, when I go out in real time, real life on the course or even the range, things start to falter back just a little bit more, right? We all kind of know this. We start to revert just a little bit, maybe 20, 30%, right? And it happens a little bit more. So in training, we have to overdo it sometimes, right? That might be why you see a lot of kind of weird, exaggerated movements from a lot of guys in training, because everyone knows it starts to balance out a little bit more on the field when things start to happen, and you got to make a shot or you got to make a really good hit, and there's pressure on you, and you try not to think about things. So just know that in training, you might have to over-exaggerate things. Don't try to make things perfect in training, because a lot of times things fall off a little bit in game when adrenaline goes up. So try to, in training, don't make it perfect. Over-exaggerate what you really need to make your game swing better, not your training swing better. Good luck out there. Thank you, guys.